Day. As always, I am Mookie Betts. He is not. Hold on, I just messed up. I am Mason. He is Gautham. And we are here to talk about some things that don't make sense to us. That being two of the hottest teams in baseball that just keep playing well. And it doesn't seem to make any sense. They both kind of came out of nowhere, if you think about where expectations were at the beginning of the year for these two clubs. And those two clubs are the Milwaukee Brewers and the Toronto Blue Jays. And before we get into them, we do have a couple things we want to talk about, but I would be remiss to not ask Gautham, how are you doing today?
I am doing good. Been a interesting weekend here at home, but it's been pretty good. And yeah, I'm excited to podcast tonight.
Oh, good deal. All right, so we had a couple players hit some big milestones recently. We have another couple guys that are knocking on the door, some milestones. This is basically I kind of think this year is sort of just an homage to like years past. We have so many of these historic players that are kind of approaching the end of their career that are reaching these huge milestones. Earlier in the year, we had Clayton Kershaw reach his 3,000 strikeout, becoming just the fifth left-handed pitcher ever to eclipse the 3,000 mark, which is spectacular. But that's not the only big milestone we've had. Both Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander have been chasing strikeout records, win records, just all of these big counting stat get you into the inner circle Hall of Fame type stats. And Verlander just reached the 3,500 strikeout mark, making him the 10th all-time to do so. So, Gautham, first I want to ask you, does 3,500 strikeouts actually matter in the scheme of things when looking at a player's career?
Yes, it absolutely matters. It tells that the player has had a very, very, very long career, and that only happens if you're good, because you cannot stick around if you have like drop off in skill. I mean, Justin Verlander is not the same guy that he was before, but he still throws 94. And
he hit 98 in the fourth inning the other day after 85 pitches.
Yeah, and just kind of like looking back at the guys that he's joining the club with, they all pitched 20 or more years. So Verlander here's in his 20th season. The other guys on the list, Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Steve Carlton, Bert Blyleven, Tom Seaver, Don Sutton, Gaylord Perry, Walter Johnson. So talking about the legends of the game, they all pitched 20 plus years. Some of the guys pitched like 24 years in the case of like a Clemens or Steve Carlton. This is a crazy achievement.
27 years for Nolan Ryan to get his 5,700th strikeout or whatever it is. Is it 57-14?
57-14.
Nailed it.
In 53-86 innings pitched. So
that's insane.
Yeah. So even though strikeout rates are a lot higher these days and it's easier to rack up strikeouts, we're probably not going to see a lot of other people joining this club because nobody pitches this long and nobody pitches this many innings to be able to reach these totals.
So that actually brings up the other guy who's going to join this club very, very soon, Max Scherzer. He's what, 40 something short?
Yeah, he's 50? At 34-56.
Okay, so he's 44 strikeouts short, which he could do this year pretty easily. I don't know that I'd say easily. It's possible.
He might get there, though.
Yeah. Which I believe he didn't debut until 2008, which would put him in his 18th year. So would he be the first guy in the 3,500 strikeout club to be under 20 years?
Yes, he would.
Dang. That's So Scherzer was always more of a strikeout kind of burner than Verlander was.
He's one of the
Verlander,
greatest he's the greatest strikeout pitcher of all time, uh, based on I think the rate.
yeah, what is his career K rate? So his career Ks per nine comes in at 10.63 over almost 3,000 innings.
Yeah, I think that's the one that he's the leader in. I'm gonna check the rate right
It's
here.
29.2%.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, he'll join that club pretty darn quick. And these are just two spectacular numbers that I don't think I can't even think of who might be able to do it. I think Skeens, if his arm lasts, but we're a very long way away from that. Just pure arm talent, he's definitely like the guy to watch right now, I think. But man, we got
you kind of
16 more years.
So, yeah, the way Max did it though was by that rate, and he was a workhorse, of course, but in his peak, he had years where he was striking out more than 30% of guys. So like between 2015 and 2022, actually, so a giant chunk, the prime of his career, every single one of those years, he had greater than a 30% strikeout rate. So if you can do that over a long haul, you can get to this club. Paul Skeens I don't think he's ever had a strikeout rate over 30% for his career. So that just shows like how difficult this achievement is.
Yeah, and granted, he's the first one to do it in under 20 years. So it's still possible to hit 3,500.
Guy to get to 20 years, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still possible to 33.1% strikeout rate last year, Gautam, for Paul Skeens.
Okay.
Jeez,
but not
and
this year though.
He's at 28.9. So he's close.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are two just astounding pitchers reaching milestones that have rarely been seen in the modern era. Like, how many of the guys in that list pitched in the 80s and earlier? It's most of them, right? Because you'd have Nolan Ryan, Steve Carlton, Burt Blyleven, Don Sutton, Walter Johnson, and I feel like there's one or two more that were old, right?
Yes, Walter Johnson did pitch before the 80s.
Yes, but
confirmed.
How were there more in that list of 10 that were
Gaylord Perry and Tom Seaver as well?
Okay, yeah. So 7 out of the 10 pitched prior, like they finished their career prior to the 90s. The only recent guys are Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens, and then now Justin Verlander and soon to be Max Scherzer. So this is something that has kind of just gone away. And part of that is because the guys who pitched for that long also pitched the majority of the game. So they had a lot more innings to rack up strikeouts. So now with starts being shortened to 5-6 innings for most guys on a good day, strikeout rates climbing, it does not get you these counting numbers still.
Yeah. And just looking at Walter Johnson, it took him 5,900 innings to get to this mark.
Wow.
So
okay.
Strikeout rates were not quite the same back then in the early 1900s.
How many strikeouts did Cy Young have? Because doesn't he have the record for most innings pitched in a career?
Yeah, he's up there. He's in the realm. He's 25th all time with 2,803 strikeouts, but it took him 73.56 innings to get there.
Yeah, that's nutty.
Yeah.
And Cy Young was one of those guys who was close to hitting 500 innings in a season before. When he was in Cleveland back in the 1890s. Yeah, those are real years, I just said. Back in Cleveland in the 1890s, he pitched in consecutive years 423, 453, 422, 408. So it like not close to 500, but that's the closest anyone's ever going to be to that mark.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, Cy Young's career K per 9 comes in at a whoppingly low 3.43.
It's like, yeah. So Cy Young with that rate would not even, he wouldn't have made it in the big leagues, right? There's no pitcher that has a K per nine that low that's around.
No, not at all. Actually, I say no, not at all. Please hold. Let me. The lowest career K rate. Oh, I want pitching. The lowest K per nine in the league. Well, that's disappointing. Andre Palante is the second lowest.
Who's the first lowest?
Jose Urena at 6.01 Ks per nine. He strikes out batters at twice the rate of Cy Young, and he is the worst strikeout pitcher in the major leagues. Holy cow, 2 of the bottom 5 are in the St. Louis Cardinals rotation right now. I knew it was bad for us, but wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, strikeouts, massive amounts of strikeouts. I believe we've had a couple guys that have reached the 1,000 strikeout line here pretty recently. Did you have that list of guys?
Yeah, it was Matt Boyd and Framber Valdez.
And Zach Gallen sometime in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yep. But yeah, so that's closer to the mark that we're going to be seeing a lot. Like 1,000 strikeouts is, I mean, it's a lot of strikeouts. It's not an insane amount of strikeouts. You could do that. And I mean, some of the best pitchers, that's really 5 years of work. Is 2,000 strikeout, or not 2,000, 200 strikeouts a season is still very much doable. So, but we also had a couple of hitter milestones here recently. And I think the biggest would be that Pete Alonso has tied the Mets all-time home run record, which ties Darryl Strawberry. Is that right?
That is correct.
With 252 home runs.
Yeah.
Does that, and not necessarily just that alone, but think of his career as a whole, what he means to the club. Is Pete Alonso one of the greatest Mets ever?
I think so, yeah. I think he is. And what's funny is I know Pete Alonso got off to like a really good start this season, but if you look at his numbers this year, they're basically exactly in line with his career numbers. He's just having a regular middle of the road Pete Alonso season, which is great. Like, he's a great hitter, hits for a lot of power, and I'm sure they're happy that they brought him back. He's a huge part of their team, and it would be weird if Pete Alonso left now, right? Like, it seems like he's gonna sign a big contract with the Mets to stay with them for basically the rest of his career.
Yeah, and honestly, they should. Because I was thinking about it, though, and like, so David Wright was incredible when he was on the field, and injuries shortened his career.
In home runs with 242.
I didn't realize he was that close. Wow, okay. But like, I always think of David Wright, and part of it is just I'm biased because that's when I grew up watching baseball. But David Wright was incredible. He finally had his number retired by the Mets, and he very much deserves it. Longevity due to injury kind of shortened his career, and so like when you think about him, you kind of think about what could have been. But I still think of him as being one of the best Mets of all time. Not that the list is really all that long. But Pete Alonso never really pops into my head whenever I'm thinking about that. Like, it's Tom Seaver, duh. He's probably the best Met, period. And then David Wright, Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden, and you're kind of in that realm. And then Pete Alonso is here. He's incredible. He hit 50 homers in his rookie season, and he's still doing it. He's at 252 now, becomes the Mets all-time leader in home runs. At some point, should they give him the title captain that David Wright had when he was there?
Is he the captain, or is Lindor the captain, though?
I kind of think it's Pete.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they don't want that, but I don't know. Like this is actually a very good era of Mets baseball. They have three. Not that WAR is everything, but they've got three guys in their lineup that are top 10 all time in position player WAR. Do you know who those three guys are?
In their lineup right now?
Yep. Yeah.
Will it be Lindor, Juan Soto, and Pete Alonso, right?
No. Mets WAR. So no Juan Soto right now.
Oh, and Mets WAR.
Yep.
Well, it would be Pete.
Yep. He's 10th.
Okay. It would be Lindor's put up
Don't
a lot of
overthink it.
WAR, but has he been there long enough?
Lindor's number 9. Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, he has like 6 more seasons, right?
Yeah, but he's only been there like 5 years.
24 WAR.
And then the other one, Mets WAR, Starling Marte?
Nope. It's Brandon Nimmo, who's been there basically forever.
Nimmo.
So
I would have guessed McNeil next, but that kind of felt not right.
No, McNeil's nowhere in the picture. So, but yeah, so, it's a good time to be a Mets fan, and Juan Soto will surely be joining that list in the next 15 years.
And Juan Soto is the next guy on the team that we're looking at for the 250 home run mark. He's at 229 right now. He's probably not going to get there till next season, unless he just has some crazy end of the year, which is possible for him. I wouldn't put it past him. I think there's maybe only one other guy that I wanted to mention, and he hasn't reached a milestone yet, but he is super, super, super close, and that is for Michael Nelson Trout. So Trout, he astounds me. Like, he's 34 now. He's been dealing with injuries for years, and hasn't really played a full season since 2018, and even then it was 140 games, but he's still coming up on the 400 home run mark. He's at 398 right now. He is behind only Giancarlo Stanton for active players career home runs, and his season's kind of turned around a little bit. His OBP is still high. His average is ticking up a little bit. He's finally been on the field. He's up at 90 games played this year, which is the most he's played since 2022. 20 home runs this year. So like, he's still got some in the tank. And I know you and I were talking about this not too long ago. His numbers, like for all of his rate stats, are pretty much on board with where they have always been. Like, there's nothing directly in any of the stats that says this is Mike Trout's problem. This is where he's changed. It kind of seems like he's the same guy, just not getting the results.
I think that's definitely part of it. But yeah, I mean, he's not like the peak Mike Trout that we saw before, but he's still a very solid player. The defense has gone out the window, though. He's a very poor defender. And
well, conveniently, you don't have to play defense as a DH.
Does he DH?
He has been the last 3 games.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I still think it's worth looking at because Mike Trout is still a slam dunk Hall of Famer. His 7-year peak was enough to get him in, period. He just needed to hit 10 years and he was in. And so now everything on top is icing on the cake. It's getting to see this great player try and overcome adversity and continue to put up seasons that make him worthy of being part of the Inner Circle Hall of Fame. Because he's got, I would consider him the position player version of Sandy Koufax. Except now he's just kind of sticking around. But like, it's that peak was just so incredible that you're like, yes, him. All right, you got any other milestone type guys?
No, I don't think so.
All right, then we have one other thing before we get into the two teams that we were going to talk about tonight. And I think we should probably talk a little bit about Jen Powell. So we had this weekend the first ever female major league umpire. Jen Powell got called up from AAA, where last week I believe she was calling the Indianapolis Indians and Iowa Cubs series. Because I was watching it on TV. I was talking to Britt and Rachel at dinner, and I went, I wonder how long till she makes it to the majors, because like she's right here. And then a week later, she gets called up to the majors. So one, kind of cool that I called it. Two, really freaking cool that she actually finally got the call. She won't be the last. She's just the first. But she actually was part of a doubleheader on Saturday, was in the field for the first game, and then, she was in the field for both games, and then today, I believe she was behind the plate. Which,
correct, yeah.
I didn't watch the game,
chunk of the game.
So how'd she do? Did you want to yell at her like you did every other ump?
No,
how was her zone?
It was pretty good.
Right.
They showed like her zone tendency. It was pretty good, and I think she did a good job. Like I wasn't mad watching her ump, so it was good.
Yeah, and that would be so terrifying to me. Like, just making your major league debut, period, is tough. Making your major league debut behind the plate is even tougher. And then doing it with just the added stress of being the first. Like, she could have had a terrible game, and I would have been like, honestly, mood, same. I feel that. But, so no, if she called a really, really good game, great for her. I love that. She also gave an interview after the first couple games, and she mentioned that, like, it didn't set in until the ninth inning of the first game, whenever there was something going on, but then her and the crew chief were kind of standing next to each other, and then he gave her a big hug, and it kind of sunk in that was her first big league game. And then she looked up and goes, there are so many people here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hope she gets to stay up. I think she was just being called up for a series, maybe is like
it's because
vacation.
of the doubleheader, so they have to on a doubleheader, one of the umps that calls the plate, basically after that they get removed, so they don't have to call like the next game.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why they call up an extra umpire for that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think so. The crew chief, and I was trying to look for his name, I couldn't find it, but he was so excited about this. I mean, he was talking about like how he has called playoff games, World Series games, and he felt like this was one of the biggest like moments in his career. He had his entire family come and watch this game because it's just like a historic thing for umpiring. And yeah, it's not a one-off. It's a trailblazing moment.
Chad Whitson was the crew chief, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's either Chad Whitson, Chris Guccione, or Edwin Moscoso? I think it's Chad Whitson. He's the only one that I remember the name of. But no, super cool. We're definitely going to have to talk to Ashley about this at some point, because I think we're probably due for an update on just women's baseball in general, especially with the I'm completely blanking on the name of it right now, which is embarrassing, but the Professional Women's Baseball League, WPBL, Women's Professional Baseball League. I think that's it. And then also Athletes Unlimited Softball League, that's like partially owned by MLB. So I think we probably need to get Ashley on here soon. If she's listening to us record this live, just you know. Um, yeah. So I think let's take that into the main topic. And the main topic is we don't understand the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't. I hate them. They're the Regina George of baseball. I just do not
only
like
to us, I think, though. I think everybody else thinks the Brewers are an awesome story.
Well, she's a mean girl.
And well, yeah.
But yeah, no, the Milwaukee Brewers at the beginning of the year were maybe expected to be second, maybe even third place in the division. The Cubs seemed like the heavy favorite. And now, after the All-Star break, the Cubs have been just kind of pedestrian. Not a bad team by any means. They're just about 500 since the break. The Milwaukee Brewers, on the other hand, have won 9 of their last 10 games, including a 9-game winning streak. They have won a bunch of games before that, and they're winning most of these games by a lot of runs, which is very not Milwaukee of them.
Yeah. And the Brewers are on one of they're on their best stretch of 62 games, I think, now, of their entire existence. I believe they've won they're like 46-16 in their last 62. It's just remarkable. And it seems like they're never going to lose. Today, Isaac Collins hit a walk-off home run. Over the weekend, Friday, Blake Perkins, their center fielder, threw out Starling Marte at home for a walk-off fielding play. That was incredible. And
okay, but some of this we have to chalk up to the Lawmets.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Who have lost 7 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. They couldn't help the Cubs out even slightly. Yeah, but no, it goes back to well before the All-Star break, though. I don't think people caught on to how well the Brewers have been playing for months and months now. But they started their season kind of slow. I believe they were 25-28 at one point. And then basically since then, they've just gone on this ridiculous 60-game stretch, a third of the season, where they've just been on fire. And everything is working for them. So I think it would be a good time to look deeper into this and kind of answer the question, how are they doing this? And can they keep it up?
So for most of the season, they have been winning like 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5, and didn't really go on any extended stretch of like just constant winning until we get into July. And then as soon as they went to Miami, they won game 1 6-5, lost game 2, but then they did not lose again for 7 days until the All-Star break. They come out of the All-Star break and win 4 more to go on an 11-game winning streak. And then they lost 1 game to Seattle, 1-0. They dropped 2 to Miami, which is kind of embarrassing. They won a series against the Cubs to end the month of July. And then they have yet to lose in the month of August. 9 in a row. They have Pittsburgh starting tomorrow, which should be, in theory, 3 more consecutive wins. So, yeah, this is a team that's been just hot for easily a month. They just haven't lost. And before that, they were winning 60% of their games. Just, they'd win 2 out of 3 in a series. They'd win, or sweep a series, win the next one, and then lose a game. But yeah,
I think
recently... Oh, yep.
Just looking back to July, I mean, they swept the season series with the Dodgers. They won all 6 games. Like you mentioned, they haven't lost this month. Their last loss was to the Cubs on July 30th. And prior to that, they had won the first 2 games in the series. So in the less than 2 months, they've gone from back in the division behind the Cubs by 6.5 games to now they're ahead by 5.5 games, which is a ridiculous swing within such a short number of games. And like you mentioned, the Cubs have not like completely. You can't really call it a collapse because it's not. They've kind of played okay. They played around 500.
They're playing like an average baseball team right now. Their offense is not the 5.5 runs per game or 6 runs per game that it was at the beginning of the season. It's down to like 3.5, 4, which is still respectable. But they just
it's mid pack, but it's not the same.
Yeah, PCA and Kyle Tucker both kind of went or cooled off at the same time, and that kind of has led to this situation here. But back to the Milwaukee side of it, though, what doesn't make sense to me, and this is where I'm hoping you can explain it a little bit. I have an idea of what it might be. But historically, Milwaukee is a pitching first club. They're incredible at developing pitching. They always seem to find guys that were cast-offs somewhere else, bring them in, and they're great. They'll find a guy in their bullpen to become Josh Hader, to become Devin Williams. Don't look at Devin Williams 2025. It's not good.
After they traded him.
Yep. But now they've got like Abner Uribe and a couple other guys in the pen.
Trevor McGill.
Yeah, Trevor McGill. Then they bring up another rookie starter that is just incredible in Jacob Mizraowski. And so you would think, okay, they're winning a lot of low-scoring games. No, not at all. They're not giving up all that many runs. They are doing well. But they scored 8 and then 9 against the Cubs. And then they gave up 10 and only scored 3 in game 3. That was the last loss they had. Then they beat Washington 16-9, 8-2, and 14-3 before beating Atlanta 3-1, 7-2, 5-4. The Mets 3-2, 7-4, 7-6. They're hitting the way the Cubs were hitting the first half of the year.
Yeah.
How?
And yeah, I was also surprised by that. I kind of thought this was like a pitching and defense team, which they sort of still are, but big picture on the Brewers, there was not one stat that I looked at when I was looking into the Brewers that the Brewers are bad at. They are not bad at anything. They pitch pretty well. Their offense has really come around. They get on base a ton. I think they're second in the league in OBP. They've got some power. That's maybe like their one small deficiency is they don't like put a ton of balls over the fence, but that's kind of been changing in recent weeks and especially during this hot stretch. And then their defense.
I was just going to say,
amazing.
As far as power is concerned, they do have 2 guys that are at about 20 this year. Christian Yelich is at 21. Jackson Churrio's at 17 already. So, like, they've got a couple guys that are kind of leading in that direction. And then in 24 games with the club, Andrew Vaughn has 7 home runs.
Yeah.
That's just an insane clip.
So this is not an original idea, but I thought it made a ton of sense. I'll try to explain it to you. So somebody was saying that the Brewers, they sort of have an advantage over like bigger market teams because they don't have guys that are locked into like playing time on mid-level contracts. So if I can comp to like the Cubs have players like Ian Happ. They don't make like superstar money, but they make like $15 million a year. Seiya Suzuki makes like 15 or roughly like 18 million per year. If those guys slump, they do not really like leave the lineup. They're just fixtures. No matter how they play, just because of their contract, they've got to play. The Brewers don't really have those guys. They have Christian Yelich, and that's pretty much it for big contracts. So what they can do is they can sort of churn through these guys a lot faster. If you don't play well, they have another guy that can replace you, or they can platoon. They can find every little advantage and make this work. I mean, they don't have. I mean, look at their hitters. They've got Jackson Churio, Isaac Collins, Sal Frelick, William Contreras, all.
This actually brings me to the point I was about to make. How many players on their team do you think have played at least 80 games and have a WRC plus over 100?
80 games. So like basically full-time starters that
are above average hitters. Average.
They probably have like 6.
They have 8.
7? 8.
8.
So they have a full lineup of non.
That's not including recent acquisition Andrew Vaughn, who for them is at 24 games and a 194 WRC plus. Tyler Black only had 3 games, and then Blake Perkins, who I think has been a relatively recent addition to the lineup, right? He's at 20 games.
Yeah, so Blake Perkins has been filling in for the injured Jackson Churio, and he's been killing it recently.
Yeah,
see that.
He is 135 WRC plus in 19 games. So they have 11 players throughout the course of the year that are above average hitters, and Tyler Black is the only one that has not played 20 games.
Yeah.
So they're getting consistent good at bats throughout the lineup. This is kind of reminding me of the Cleveland team 2 years ago, where they just kept getting hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. Stephen Kwan, I think that was his rookie season. They were such an incredible OBP and average team that they didn't have power at all. J-Ram was the only guy on the team with power. And even then, J-Ram's power is pull to the foul pole power. He's very much Nolan Arenado. And I mean, hey, that gets you home runs, that scores you runs, that wins you games. Fantastic. But they didn't have like a true power hitter. This is the same
so
thing.
This team is better, right? But they got a little bit more juice, it seems like, than that Cleveland team. But yeah, that's like a blueprint, right? They are just like a Cleveland or a Tampa, but they do it better than those teams, really, over the long haul. I mean, they've now made the playoffs, I think 6 of the last 7 years. Seems like Cleveland is more like every other year they're kind of in it, but then they'll have a down year. The Brewers are consistent. They are like year in, year out in the hunt, making the playoffs. There's basically no chance the Brewers don't make the playoffs now. They've got the best record in baseball.
Yeah, it's 73 and 44 as of about an hour ago.
And yeah, we can talk about culture or whatever you want to call it, but I think there's some merit to it, because the Brewers do not like have superstar players. They don't have personnel for it, so they don't really have like the egos that some teams maybe have. They truly play really collective and unselfish baseball, and I think that's why they're this good. And when you add that to like all the player development, the coaching that they clearly have, I don't know, this is like a model franchise.
Yeah, and I really wish that they were not in our division.
I know,
it's
right?
so frustrating.
Yes. I think Isaac Collins, I wanted to talk about him because he's like the perfect example of the model Brewer. So I kind of mentioned this last week, I think, that I had no clue who Isaac Collins was before the season started. I researched maybe, like, no joke, like 1,000 players preseason for fantasy. Isaac Collins didn't come up at all. And Isaac Collins was a minor league Rule 5 pick from the Rockies a few years ago. He was ranked like 28th on their prospect, or maybe it was 38th in the Brewers system. He's 27 years old and he's a rookie. And He just happens to have a 392 OBP this season. So Isaac Collins is killing it. He's got a 137 WRC plus. You can make the case that he's been their best position player all year. He had a walk-off home run today against the Mets. He's switch hitter, and it's just remarkable that they can find guys like this and make them not just like big leaguers. They can make them like impact awesome big leaguers.
So he reminds me of a lot of what the Cardinals were doing between about 2011 and 2015. Like just bringing up a random no-name guy that would just have an incredible season. And then they all fell off, but they were all rookies at about 28 years old. Jeremy Hazelbaker being one of those guys. Oh shoot. We ended up trading him to the Rays later.
Jose Martinez.
Yes, I was thinking Carlos, and it's like it's not Carlos. He's the pitcher. Yes, Jose Martinez. Kind of those types of guys, and that's kind of who Isaac Collins is. He's got a little bit of pop.
He may never have a season this year. Like he may never have another season like this again, but they still had this one season, and it's phenomenal.
So, would it be crazy to say the Cardinals' devil magic has not reared its head in a couple years?
It got transferred over to the Brewers.
I think they might have stolen it.
Yeah.
So they got rid of David Stearns, or he went to the Mets, and then they just had to sign a deal with the devil. I think that's what it was.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. I don't know, all these Rays guys, right? Because Matt Arnold is a former Rays employee, and you see Rays guys all over the place. I mean, look at Chaim Bloom.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Cardinals are going that way now.
Peter Bendix with the Marlins, and Derek Falvey with the Twins. I mean, like Rays influence is kind of all over the league right now, but the Brewers do it better than pretty much anybody.
And I think it's partly because they don't have the fan base that demands that they have a superstar. Like, I'm sure they would love to have a superstar at any given time, but they're not going out and demanding that you need to sign Albert Pujols to a 10-year, $200 million contract in 2011. They don't have someone going, oh, you need to trade for Nolan Arenado from the Rockies. And like, they don't have that. And so they're able to just make the smart moves all the time, as opposed to doing a fan service move, which I think
there's no fan service, right? They just do the best they can, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. So it kind of feels like that's the way that the Rays operate, the way that the Brewers operate, and it's effective. But you can't do that same thing to the same extent in St. Louis, in Los Angeles, in New York, in Chicago. It just wouldn't go well. So, I mean, you see how ticked off the St. Louis fan base is right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Get rid of all the superstars, and nobody's showing up to games.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, we have one other team that we probably need to talk about a little bit, and this team's been a little bit, I don't want to say cold. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games, but they're not as on fire at the moment as the Milwaukee Brewers. Granted, nobody is. And that is the Toronto Blue Jays.
I think you should mention where they are, right? Where are they in the standings?
Well,
they've got the best record in the
that's
league.
what I was about to get to. This is the Toronto Blue Jays. The leader in the American League East. The leader in the entire American League. 69-50. They are actually half a game ahead of the Dodgers, even. Which is partly, or no, they just played the Dodgers. Yeah, they played the Dodgers this weekend. So yeah, today's game basically decided who had the better record between the Jays and the Dodgers. The Jays won it, but they have a 4-game lead in the division over Boston. A 6.5 over the Yankees, who were the favorite to win this division. Aaron Judge is still in the IL right now, which is a huge loss to the Yankees, and the Jays are making the most of it.
He's back this week.
Oh, he's back this week? Okay.
He's been back since Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I missed that. He hasn't homered this week then, because I haven't got any All Rise gifts in my group chat this week. Yeah, the Blue Jays are just playing incredible baseball right now. They have a series against the Cubs coming up this week. And like, how are they doing this?
Yeah, I think they're doing it with offense. Their offense is like really clicking, and I can imagine. I don't watch the Blue Jays a ton, but any team that leads the league in batting average is most likely very fun to watch. They've got a batting average that's like hovering around 270 this year, which is far and away the best in the majors. They don't strike out. They score plenty of runs, and I don't know, they're getting like unlikely contributions as well, kind of like the Brewers. But I'm thinking about like Ernie Clement, who's at like a 2.6 WAR season, and then bench guys like Nathan Lucas and Davis Schneider, Joey Loperfido. Every one of these like secondary pieces is doing a really, really good job. And then they've had major bounce back from like one of their stars in Bo Bichette to have he basically has gone back to being the Bo Bichette of old, which is fantastic for the Jays.
Okay, so question I asked you with the Brewers. How many guys on the team, this is for the Blue Jays now, obviously, how many guys on the team have played 80 games and have a WRC plus above 100?
Okay, so probably Vlad, Bo, Addison Barger, Kirk, maybe. I don't know if he's played that many games.
Yes, he has.
How about I know I'm missing someone big. Springer.
Yep.
And Ernie Clement. Has he played enough games for that?
Yes, he has. And he just gets the 100. He's at 102.
Okay. That's all I can think of. Am I missing anyone?
You're so close. There is one guy
There's one more
missing.
Oh, okay. Let me think a little bit harder then.
You've already mentioned him too.
I've already mentioned him. Oh man. I don't know.
You called him a bench guy.
Lucas?
Nathan Lukes.
Oh, he's played enough. Okay.
Yep, he's played 92 games. So, but they have 7. The Brewers had 8, but if you look at just any guy who's played this year, they actually have 13 guys who've been above 100 WRC plus that have played for them this year. Only 2 of those guys have played less than 26 games. That would be Ty France and Buddy Kennedy, who played 2 games. So really, they have 11 guys who have played significant amounts of time that have been above to well above average this year. Tyler Heineman, Joey Loperfido, Dalton Varsho, and Davis Schneider being the 4 that get added in there. And then Ty France at 7 games so far has been incredible.
Yeah. No, this team is very interesting because coming into the season, I think everybody was very down on the Jays because they were having a bad season. It seemed like all their executives were on the hot seat because they were all kind of walking into their last years of their contracts. and it looked like they were sort of aging and they had never really taken that next step. And then all of a sudden, everything has gone right for them. I mean, look at the season that George Springer's having as a 35-year-old. I mean, it's been incredible. Like he's just gone back to like 5-7 years ago. George Springer.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the best seasons of his career. I don't know how he's doing it.
I mean,
honestly,
him and Correa are both kind of having a resurgent year this year. Like
George Springer, way, way, way better than Correa, though. Correa's have a bad year.
Fair. But I think the other key here is actually in one of the pending free agents in Bo Bichette, because after last year, I think everybody, like, Bo Bichette's stock was basically in the toilet with any fans.
Yeah.
And this year he's come back out. He's hitting about 300. He's at 298 right now. And he's constantly one of the highest, like, number of base hit guys in the league. So him being up at 300 again, he's got 16 home runs. He's playing defense. It's not great defense, but it's not bad defense either. Like, he's not striking out. Like,
he's doing regular stuff that he's done for most of his career.
It's making like last year look like the fluke, like it was.
It was the blip, yeah.
But nobody's talked about Bo Bichette this year, and nobody's talked about Vlad. Yeah. And I get it. Like, everybody looks at Vlad and thinks that Vlad is supposed to be a 60 homer guy. That's never been who Vlad is. It's literally never been who Vlad is. Vlad has always been a high average. He's got some power. He hits the shit out of the ball, but he hits line drives. He doesn't elevate. And he does a lot of damage that way. He walks as much as he strikes out, which is only 13% of the time for the strikeouts. So he's always on base. Like, this is an incredible player. But because he doesn't hit dingers and chicks love the long ball, then people just go, well, Vlad's having a bad year. No, he's not.
Yeah.
Vlad's having a great year.
He's paid like a 60 homer guy, but he's doing what he has always done, basically, except for that 1 year where he hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, and he's going to be about a 5 WAR player again. So, like, I would argue if you can consistently be a 5 WAR guy with 30 home runs and a 300 average, like, I'm fine with that. That's Prince Fielder right there.
Yeah.
And everybody loved Prince Fielder.
Let's talk about pitching, though, because I think the Blue Jays' weaker side of their team is their pitching. They've sort of been kind of holding it together, holding down the fort, but it's not exciting, right? Like, you look at their FIPS from their starters, Gosman, Eric Lauer, Bassett, Jose Barrios. They're all like hovering around 4 for the most part. Eric Lauer's randomly been like their best pitcher. I don't know how that happened, but it's not like they're going to knock your socks off with their pitching. They're sort of going to try to outscore you, and then their pitchers are going to keep you in games, which is admirable. It's very valuable. But I don't think they have like the ace guy for the playoffs.
Well,
seems like a concern.
Yes and no. So you look at the season stats and no. But I'm going to throw a guy that we've already talked about in this podcast in here and say, I think he's close to back. And that is Max Scherzer. Scherzer's only pitched 9 games so far this year. He missed all of April, all of May, and didn't come back until the 25th of June. And his first couple starts, basically his first 5 games back, were not great. He gave up 3 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs, and pitched a total of 25 innings. So that ballooned his ERA up to close to 5. But his last 3 starts at Detroit, who's one of the best hitting teams in baseball this year, he went 7 innings, gave up 3. Okay, I'd call that a successful start. Then 6 innings against Kansas City, 1 run, and then against the Dodgers. And this was his most recent start 2 nights ago, on Friday. Yeah, it was against Kershaw, which conveniently, and I think this might have been partially by design, those 2 actually debuted against each other back in 2008. So,
oh, really? I didn't know that. That's cool.
It was supposed to be Greg Maddux versus Randy Johnson. Both of them were scratched. Both of these guys debuted.
That is super cool.
Mm-hmm. And then they faced each other again here on Friday in LA. And Scherzer went out and struck out 5, giving up 2 runs in 6 innings against the Dodgers. Which, one more note here, the 7-inning start against the Tigers, the first like good start that he's had this year, struck out 11.
Mm-hmm.
So Scherzer is getting close to being back. Like his average velocity against the Dodgers was back up to 90, which is the highest it's been all year. He's starting to look good. And it's right in time.
Yeah, I agree. I think Scherzer looks good, and one thing standing out to me is 1.91 homers per 9. So if he can like limit the home run damage, then he's going to be good, because good strikeout rate, really good walk rate. It's just the home run right now, and that's been like a issue for Scherzer at other times during his career, but I think that'll kind of normalize. 1.91 is ridiculously high.
Yeah. So I think.
But who would you start in a playoff series if you're the Jays? Who are the like 3 or 4 guys that get the ball?
Well, Eric Lauer right now.
Yeah, I guess
Max Scherzer. So it all hinges on one guy. And that guy has not played in the majors yet this year. He has one more rehab start that he's going to make before he comes up to Toronto, and that is Shane Bieber. I think it all hinges on how good Shane Bieber is coming off of his Tommy John. If he is pitching as well as he did before his Tommy John, it's going to be Scherzer, Eric Lauer, Bieber, and probably Berríos. Because Berríos is not blowing the doors off anybody. He's not like stifling offenses, but he's consistent. And that's a key here, is you want consistency. You want good consistency. And I mean, he's like a 3.8 ERA, but he's been consistent the whole year. He's been consistent his whole career even. So I would feel comfortable.
Wait, I'm sorry, who did you say?
Berríos.
Who are all your guys?
Oh.
But who are the other ones?
So it was Scherzer, Eric Lauer, Shane Bieber, if he's half as good as he was before the injury, and Berríos.
Okay, I would definitely put Gausman in there, because he's been their best pitcher, I think, by WAR, like well above the other guys. I think Lauer probably wouldn't start a playoff game, but he would maybe be like the long man in the bullpen or something. I'm sorry, I can't do it with Eric Lauer.
I guess, I don't know. It's one of those that he's playing so well right now that if we were going based on today, I'm going to give it to him. But it's only 12 starts, 6 games out of the pen, 80 innings. So his arm is not taxed really compared to these other guys. He's also the youngest of them.
Yeah, they are very old.
Mm-hmm.
Staff.
His Gausman's 34, Lauer is 30, Bassett's 36, Berríos is 31, Scherzer is 112. 40. What did I say?
112.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, I might give it to Lauer. Like, he's striking out a lot of guys. He's not walking anybody, and he's not giving up home runs. That's kind of exactly what you want in a playoff situation. So, now,
Yes.
long term, I trust Gausman more. But then you have the Blue Jays going out there and getting Louis Varland for their bullpen. And he was very good for the Twins. Let's see, who else did they add?
They got Sir Anthony Dominguez also to shore up the pen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was another reliever, but I'm also worried about the bullpen. I don't think it's that good.
Yeah, Jeff Hoffman
he's had a weird season.
Yeah, and that's kind of the concerning part for me. Is Hoffman kind of needs to be your ride or die. Although now you have Dominguez.
He kind of does. Like, yeah. But I think Hoffman's so weird though, because like he has a great strikeout rate, great walk rate, and then his ERA is 4.56. That just seems like kind of odd.
It's because he's got Scherzer levels of home run rates.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like they literally have the exact same home run rate and nearly the same BABIP.
Yeah, that seems a little fluky.
Yeah, 20% home run to fly ball ratio.
Yeah,
that's stupid high.
Abnormal.
Yeah.
That's like Christian Yelich in 2018 levels.
So can we actually give Jeff Hoffman the MVP for hitting, or can we give him the Hank Aaron Award?
I think so.
So that's a lot of home runs.
That's a ton, yeah. I don't know. It's been kind of cool to see the Blue Jays do this. I think they're a really fun team to watch. And they're sort of like making hay when all the other teams in the division are just like slacking off. Like, what is going on with the Yankees? The Rays and the Orioles are having down seasons. The Red Sox are trying to hang in there, but they're also still 4 games behind.
Yeah. The Jays have a 98.1% chance of making the playoffs. So they've pretty much locked it up, barring a complete and utter collapse.
Correct. Yeah.
They have actually a better chance of making the playoffs than the Chicago Cubs, who have a 97% chance or 98% chance of making the playoffs. But
yeah.
So my question to you, we're looking at both of these teams, and obviously pitching in Milwaukee is pretty good, which we didn't actually talk about. We just talked about their hitting. But their pitching's obviously pretty good. Their hitting is everybody is participating. Nobody's like shining specifically. The Jays, incredible hitting pretty much throughout the lineup. Everybody is shining. Weak pitching. Both clubs have about an equal chance to make the playoffs. Which team are you taking if these two teams were facing off in the World Series?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think I give the edge to the Brewers, and it's for some of the reasons that some of the parts of the teams we didn't really talk about. So pitching and defense and base running, because the Brewers, I wanted to mention that they are like a top 5, maybe top 2 defense in the league. They run the bases extremely well. They seem to capitalize on like every mistake. And then they add that with their kind of good to great pitching. And then, I don't know. I feel like those parts of the team are a lot better on the Brewers compared to the Jays. I do like the Jays, like, kind of big name guys their top end talent is like a little bit better than the Brewers because they've got a Vlad, they've got a Bo Bichette, and the Brewers don't necessarily have as many of those type guys. They just have more of the solid producer types.
Yeah, but the Jays also have a significant number of players that are in the 10 to 20 home run range.
Fair, yeah.
Which is something
I definitely take their offense, but I think all other aspects I would give the edge to the Brewers. So overall, I'm going with the Brewers.
Okay, it's fair. Which, just to finish my point there, Guerrero and Springer at 18, Barger at 17, Bichette at 16, and then they have two more guys over 10 home runs in Varsho and Nathan Lukes at 11 and 10 respectively. So you brought up base running. Milwaukee is the best base running team in baseball by a lot.
By a mile, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just looking at their base running runs in Fangraphs, which is their base running runs above average, includes stolen bases and caught stealings. The Brewers, are one of the highest stolen base teams in the league. I believe they're number 3. No, they're number 2, only to Tampa. There's 3 teams that are all really close together in Milwaukee, Chicago, and Seattle. But Milwaukee, 13.5 base running runs above average. Tampa, 8.2. Those are the top 2 teams. So yeah, Milwaukee, by far, best base running team in baseball. Defensively, Milwaukee is a top 4 team defensively. So the 3 teams that are better than them, do you know who they are?
I think the Cardinals are like the best defense.
The Cardinals are actually number 3 right now.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. There? Look down. Who do you root for?
Oh, the Cubs. Yeah, the Cubs have a good defense.
The Cubs are number 2, 11.2 defensive runs above average. Number 1, best defensive team in baseball. Who is it?
Is it the Jays?
It is the Jays.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the Jays have a great defense too.
So really, the difference here is base running versus pitching.
Yeah.
Because those are the only 2 stats. Well, actually, Toronto is so far and ahead defensively than everybody else that really base running and defense kind of just, I would say, equal out for the most part. Because the Jays kind of limit stolen bases a lot. And,
by the way?
What? So that's the defensive component of WAR, the fielding and positional adjustment combined above average.
Gotcha.
It was just the easiest to grab here, and it's relatively all encompassing for just overall value. So, but yeah, cool, so really, I look at this of which one do you like better, the offense for the Jays or the pitching for the Brewers, and because I think everything else is kind of a wash. Yeah. These are 2 incredibly good teams, I think, is basically what we're getting to.
Yeah. So it checks out that they have the best records in their respective leagues at this date.
Yeah. Now, Toronto is abysmal in base running. They're bottom 4 in the league.
Okay. So that's their weakness, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that like defense and base running kind of go together, but I guess they don't necessarily do.
No, because you don't really have to be aware. Like defense,
they just feel like traits that they go together, but they don't necessarily.
Yeah, usually if someone's good at one, they're good at both. But I guess
like the Brewers.
Yeah. But I guess it's just the decision-making component is maybe just being more aggressive on the base paths trying to push singles to doubles with guys who are really not all that fast. I'm guessing speed is a part of that. So, well, cool. Do you have any other comments you would like to make about the Brewers or the Jays?
Well, I think the Jays guys all saved their butt. Like, they're most likely getting contract extensions after this great season, unless they totally blow it.
So is Bo going to resign?
Maybe. That'd be pretty good. And then one more thing on the Brewers. Pat Murphy eats pancakes out of his pocket, which that's obviously the key to their success.
I mean,
have you seen that?
I have not, but I kind of was thinking earlier, it's like the Brewers got to be doing something weird. That would explain
basically, it. They have not lost a game since Pat Murphy pulled a pancake from his pocket during a mid-game interview, and he just started eating it.
Why did he have a pancake in it? Like, I get having food in your pocket, but a pancake cold is not good.
Hey, I didn't say anything about the temperature of the pancake.
Like a honey bun. Okay. Yeah, I'm on board. Makes a lot of sense. Beef jerky? Sure. Sunflower seeds? Of course, it's baseball. A pancake?
Yeah.
A pancake.
Yeah, that's the secret to success.
Did he have syrup?
I don't think so.
What kind of pancake?
I don't know, man. You're asking too many questions.
Is it a McGriddle? Like, I need to know. No. I need to know. Do we know anybody who is in media in Milwaukee? Because I have questions that need answers. Why?
Well, I think next week when we speak next week, I think you got to give us an update on the whole pancake situation.
All right. Well, I do actually have some connections that I might be able to pull.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to see. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys all very much for hanging out with us today. Be on the lookout for Mike Trout's 400th home run. Be on the lookout for Max Scherzer to hit 3,500 Ks. And be on the lookout for me to make my major league debut. We will see you back here next week. And until then, have a great day. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting app or YouTube to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Getaway Day Pod. If you enjoy card collecting, check out our sister YouTube channel at Getaway Day Cards.